So in the same way and vein that I've done the Kubera reviews, I wanted to take this time to speak about, I believe there was 13 different chapters specifically of the special Kubera chapters that came out for like season 3. I believe it was during some type of break or hiatus, whether it was a self-imposed one or one after the second season. But I want to talk about these chapters because I actually found them to be very eye-opening, fantastic in their own right. And one thing that I truly appreciated about them was that a lot of times when I get these extra chapters, they're usually something that's very silly and not important enough that you have to put too much stock in it, so you could actually just ignore it for the most part. But what I would say with these Kubera ones is a lot of the times when I get that new information from a side story or something, there's something that I would argue it conflicts with in a major fashion, where every extra tidbit here that I got, extra information, a little more detail about a story that I may have not known the other side of the story, which is a current arc in Kubera. I don't think it conflicts with anything. I think it only enhances characters, enhances moments, enhances scenes. And I think that is a very important thing that every Kubera fan should read. If you have not read it, I will have a link to those chapters in the comment section below. Let's talk about it.
'Y'all talking time just tick away. You ain't clocking hours on the day. All that watch is stopping what you claim. Dollar crosses Rio got me name. Hoping God just get me out this game.
I do want to preface by saying that I'm obviously a new Kubera fan and I haven't revisited all the material in its entirety. And I haven't been with it long standing like some of you guys are, where I'll kind of consider you guys more like Kubera historians. So perhaps it's just that I'm unable to notice it. So I don't want that to not be a part of what I'm saying here. But I trust in Currygom's writing ability and ability to plan short, mid, and long term in terms of the plot points and characters that she comes up with. So I am going to go in good faith and believe that I am at the very least mostly correct on this part. Like the video, subscribe if you're new here, and hit the bell to stay notified, okay? These chapters were fantastic, but Currygom is mean, cause pain. Pain. Wish did not, you didn't have to do that with me with Wish. I didn't ask for that. There's just no reason. You see this picture here of Jatayus, aka Yuta, kissing her and stuff like that. That whole scenario really reminded me of a bunch of comics and things that I really like when Superman had why can't I remember the name of the thing, the starfish on his face, the alien parasite thing that made him imagine the life that he wanted, the actual life that he truly wanted, not the reality that he's currently in. And it's like this mental psychological transcendental that they were using on her to make her and Yuta kind of live this fake life. It's just like, I didn't ask for this. That's just hurt my feelings for no reason, but it's extremely vital and important because not only do we kind of get more insight to what happened in the Suro realm during those 7 years, and we get a deeper look at how they've kind of grown, but the pain and torment that they both go through the fact that they can't properly be together, and how that bleeds somewhat into Kubera's, Lisa's kind of personality and whatnot, to the point where she's like, one thing I really respect about her is no matter how painful the real world is, no matter how painful reality is, like Thanos said, reality is often disappointing. The MCU Thanos, obviously, she accepts it, or kind of chooses to deal with it. There was definitely a point of denial with her for a long time, but she actually will just be like, no, it's not real. I don't want it if it's not real. And I respect that, because that's hard to do, especially nowadays in our current society. No, people aren't like that. People are okay with being quote unquote blue pill. They'll just be in the Matrix. Put me in the Matrix even though I know I'm being a human battery. And it's like, no, she would rather be like Neo and Trinity and Morpheus and actually see that the machines are using us as batteries. And I have tremendous respect for that, especially in these times. But speaking of some of the other ones, I have to say this, because this was probably one of the things that shocked me the most, other than, me getting my feelings hurt with Wish. I thought seeing Rand's older brother Lutz, however you pronounce his name. I say Lutz because like Butts or Larry Butts from like Ace Attorney, so I'd say Lutz sometimes, but maybe it's Lutz. I don't know. I had never ever seen him act like that before. Like it was literally I'm like, yo, you're actually a lot more similar to Rand than I realized. He just has the sense of duty and enough, like just enough brain because he's pragmatic enough that he knows when he has to put on that professional aura, that to take onus, to take control of things, and just be a thinking man. But on his leisure time, on his off time, when he doesn't have to do that, he's a lot more similar to Rand than we realize. And I just thought that was very interesting because it wasn't jarring to me. It didn't conflict with the character that I have seen and known throughout the narrative, because I know sometimes you could be the most professional person in the public eye, and then when you get a chance to let your hair down, so to speak, at home, you might be a little slovenly. So like I like that. So it kind of shows me like the career man versus the man at home, so to speak. But her Rana and him talking about like him having those like Yaksha clan, being into certain ears and stuff like that. That was super duper dope. But then seeing Rana actually get the anti-aging bunny ears, if you will, or cat ears. I can't remember exactly what it was off the top of my head. But that was really funny too, because not only was it actually a fetish that tied into Rand too as another member of the Yaksha clan as a half, it was a quarter. Sorry, Rand is a quarter. My bad. But it was just really funny because it's like everything about that was comedy gold to me, and I always enjoy laughing. So for me, that whole discussions that they were having at the beach and everything, it was just really funny because she's like, "Wait, you talk about me?" But like she obviously likes Rand, and then just that whole ordeal with the ears, that was really cool. So kudos to Currygom for that one, because I thoroughly enjoyed it. We kind of started off with a little bit of the stuff with Saha. That was good. Deserved better than Lorraine. Lorraine's a clown. I'll never respect her. Fuck Lorraine. And we learned a lot more. We learned a little bit more about Minaka, Shukantala, a little bit here about some of the stuff that they had to go through with Gandhi, whatever. We got a little bit more insight into some of the different surahs. Some of the surahs we haven't seen too often. That was special. By the way, there's this one part during the conversation they were having about like boyfriends and girlfriends and betrothals and stuff like that, and he's like, "Amenity, are those your last words?" That was really funny. But yeah, we even got some insight into Maruna as a younger man, and we actually know that Maruna now has probably had a crush, if not was in love with Simpanti to some degree. I mean, it's heavily implied, and I'm going to assume that there was a romantic care on his side, at least before she forced her way to the next stage and maybe changed in a lot of ways. But it was very interesting because Maruna's not a character that you would associate really with love. He seems to kind of be a true slave to the Sura nature and the way that things work and the hierarchy of Suras in the world itself, with the gods and fifth mind gods and primeval gods and all of that. However, again, what really shocks me with these revelations and these moments is that not only are they're completely believable, it doesn't actually clash with the current version of the character that I'm used to. I believe this. This is very believable to me and very well thought out, very well presented. Whereas their growing relationship from him in a younger form and seeing her change and this, that, and the third, I'm like, yo, that was very, very impressive. So again, these special chapters are probably something that maybe a lot of people might write off as just, yo, it's just like extra content. But it's like, no, we really do dive into some very important moments here. One of them being one of the versions of Brilith that didn't have a name, and Agni actually running into her but not realizing this was one of the versions of his everlasting betrothed, which was fascinating in its own right. I didn't realize that in the moment. It was a lot of you guys that helped clear that up, but that's fascinating. And Agni almost felt to some degree like he had cheated on her. Seeing Kubera just go after Yuta getting by Aryavata just hitting her over and over, and she just healing up. I know I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but like that hurt to see. I want to kind of close that on Wish. I forgot about that part, but like, okay, Now, Sierra, the priestess of the earth, is very funny to me. Priest of the earth is very funny to me because he had one of the most jarring character changes of all time. That's completely believable in every facet. But we got to actually see there before Chandra and Agni do that thing with the crystals, and he kind of gets that extreme character change. You get to see a lot more insight into how he is and how he was, and even on a mission, and how he was struggling with his vigor and how they were treating him and whatnot. And it's, again, a jarring contrast to how we know him now and then. But it was nicer. It was really important for me to get a little extra insight to how Sierra really is and was before that happening. Now he's with Asha and doing their thing, because now I truly understand him a lot more, and the journey and why the change is so kind of fucked, because now that's just not the same person. You feel me? So I think that if you haven't read this, it's important. Definitely check it out. I think Gaze is really good. I liked Wish a lot, among some of the other little side stories in there. And to me, it's like those 13 chapters, if you will. Not necessarily 13 story arcs, but 13 chapters. A couple of these were more than one. Like 8 out of 10. 9 out of 10 for me. Sorry. I would say 9 or 9.5 out of 10. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Definitely check it out if you have a chance to. I will have the link there in the comment section below. But also, speaking a little bit on the Brilith part real quick, just because it's interesting. Seeing the different versions of Brilith is also extremely important, because we know about the ancient human soul and how it works, right? And seeing some insight into the harshness that Brilith had to deal with through her many incarnations adds to the believability of her attitude today in season 3, as Neo Brilith has come out through, the current Brilith through, and then is doing what she's doing, and how she had presented herself, how she doesn't really mess with certain people, and the selflessness that she would have for the betterment of the universe, due to the fact that she spent a long time in the universe, even if it's through reincarnation, so to speak, and understands it's important and is still a caring person, even though the methods are a little darker now because of silent magic, this, that, and the third. But I'm rambling. Fantastic set of chapters. Please check it out if you have the chance, when you get the chance to. And Currygom, stop being mean. I don't like this pain. This pain just puts us through so much pain. I wouldn't say unnecessarily, but Jesus Christ, man. All right, guys, have a good day. I'm gonna be out. Yeah.
In my drugs, pour it in my cup, sitting in my darkness with my ghouls, we pouring up. I don't really give a fuck, I don't really have a say. You tell me that I suck, I tell you get up out my face. You got tears in your eyes, looking like a fool.